attention just for a few seconds here. It's good to have each and one of you with us tonight. Appreciate seeing the crowd. Of course, the normal drill is if you've got any electronic devices, please shut them down at this time. We would certainly thank you for that. I noticed that we have a number of you for public hearing. Is there anybody else that has any comments or wants to be heard during our public hearing session? If so, we'll need to get your signature. Our chairman, Miss Beth Neely's down in Savannah tonight. She's receiving an award for our county, so we're proud she's down doing that. And Miss Hines, Commissioner Hines, is in Indiana with her mother tonight. But we do have a quorum, so with that, would y'all all rise? Would you bow with me as we have our invocation? Father, we just come before you tonight, thanking you always for your blessings, your goodness, and your mercy toward us, Lord. Father, we especially pray tonight that you would lead and guide us in all that we say and do here this evening. Father, give us that ability to make the right decisions for Meriwether County. And Lord, we just thank you for those that are present. In Christ Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Our pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Tonight, before we adopt our agenda, we have a couple of items to be added here under new business. Item number 7 will be pasture rental. Item number 8 is the Lake Meriwether Board. Is there anything else that needs to be added to this at this time? With that, I would ask for a motion to adopt the agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? So moved. Our minutes have been presented to you here in hard copy, and I trust you've had time to read them. Is there a motion to accept those minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Minutes so carried. Looking out here now for our comments, for municipal comments, I see a couple of you out there. Mayor Charlene.
I don't have anything.
Mayor Bob.
Chairman, Commissioners, things are continuing to progress in Warm Springs. They have the roof on the south, east, and half of the north section of the hotel, waiting on buses to finish that. So we're moving forward on that. Last night the council approved spending some money to support a downtown revitalization plan. And the first things we're going to do are put rails from the street up those steep steps to the sidewalk and refurbish the decorative lights downtown. Yesterday afternoon I was privileged to represent the city and somewhat the county on WRPL and was able to talk about some of the things we're doing in Warm Springs, and also was able to put in a plug for the Cotton Picking Fair. Just a reminder that on October 8th and 9th we will have our Harvest Hoedown. On the 8th they're having a special event at the fish hatchery. Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor. Anybody else representing any other municipalities that I might not see? Okay. And now we're going to be looking for constitutional officers, and I don't think I've seen one. Okay. Well, at this time, then, I'm going to move on to department heads, and since, Bryn, you're in the corner there, I'm going to start with you.
I was hiding from you, but I have nothing, thank you, sir.
Nothing at all?
I mean, I can make a few things up if you want.
We're used to it, Brent, but hold on. Ron, I guess you're next as I sweep across here. Ron Garrett.
Well, here's the only thing I have.
Okay. Chief, anything?
No report, no comments.
Okay. Very good. Joey, you're standing up. I know you've got plenty to say.
Not really. Digest was accepted, approved, tax bills, first tax commission will probably be popping up in mailboxes next week. So, my news is probably not good news, but it's said done.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
Okay. Thank you, Joey. Miss Susan? Got it.
No, she was back there earlier.
Yeah, she had to leave.
She had
She had to leave? Well, I take it that's all my department heads then, is that correct? All right. Let's move on to public hearing. Do I hear a motion we go into public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? At this time, we are open for public hearing. Mr. Thurman and Mr. Ron?
Call on Mr. Garrett to make presentations on the public hearing tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, we got 3 zoning cases tonight. The first one is case number 5, and this application is presented by Mr. Mark Moore. He owns a 296-acre tract in the A1 zoning district on Upper Cove Road. He is requesting approval to zone 12 acres of the tract to rural residential, which requires a minimum of 10 acres. The improvements on the 12 acres includes an existing house, well, shop building, and tennis courts. There are several tracts along Upper Cove Road that are 12 acres or less in size. The proposed 12-acre tract will not adversely affect the intent of the A1 zoning district, which is to preserve the rural and sparsely populated Cove area. It is my recommendation that the rezone request be approved. The Planning Commission also makes that same recommendation. And I've got some maps for you to look at and show you where this property is located.
anybody else wish to speak on this item?
In the recommendations I stated from there, so this got confused somewhere, that the lot that do dilapidated mobile homes on big blue. That's not true. There's only one manufactured home there, and it was stated, because that's where Mr. Nelson broke it. So they actually they're requesting a special use approval for a family cemetery that will be about 2/10 of an acre size. That shows that.
Okay, let me be sure of what I just heard. The entire lot is 0.29 acres, and we're requesting 0.2 acres. Or
0.92 acres.
Oh, 0.92. Oh, that makes sense.
And he's requesting 0.2. He's going to marry the whole family cemetery.
This is a new one to me. I guess I've got to ask this Luke whatever he wants to do here. As far as, and it still have the ability to put the 0.2 acres there for cemetery. The 0.29 acres is the entire lot. He only wants 2/10 of an acre for cemetery.
0.92. That's a total acre.
Oh, the entire?
Yeah, the entire tract.
After he takes off the point two that he's looking at, you still have sufficient acres to accommodate his existing house, so they would.
Okay, that's a different question.
Track. That is the track. 0.92 track. Acre. And lot there. It is. And the cemetery will allow, as a special use approval, permission. Out there looking at the property, and Robert Joe came up, and he said that it's like family. I learned from him that they got, I think, over 200 great grandchildren, grandchildren. What's your question, sir? Oh, Mr. Willie, no.
He is.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Mr. Willie, you signed up to address the board, public hearing. Would you like to come forward, sir?
My name is Willie Carlson, and we have a pretty big family, and right now we're all being buried here and there. So I was trying to get a family graveyard on that piece of land that we got, so we can all come together, as a family, and have enough room to be buried instead of being buried in different times and different places.
Is there anything else you have?
That's all.
Okay. Anybody else want to speak on this issue, this report? Thank you, Mr. Coach. That's all.
Here.
At this time, we have completed our public hearing. I hear a motion to go out. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? We're out of public hearing now, and back into regular session. And it's been recommended that we go ahead and take these cases and vote over this time, and I've seen no reason why we should not. Case number 5, the Mark Moore case. Commissioners, what's your pleasure?
Hearing the recommendations from Ron and the planning commission, I would that we make a motion to accept.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, I'm calling for a vote. All in favor? So passes. Case number 7, which is our second item here, Mr. John McClendon and Diane McClendon, and a request has been made here. Commissioners, what's your pleasure?
Hearing the recommendations from Ron and the planning commission, I move that we also make a motion to move forward with this.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion needed? I'm calling for a vote. All in favor? Okay. And the last case we have is case number 8, Mr. Willie Coverson. Commissioners, what's your pleasure? What's your favor?
With this being in District 2, I'd make the recommendation that we would allow for the special use permit on the cemetery for the Ferguson family.
Is there a second?
Second.
Calling for a vote? I guess if there's no discussion. All in favor? So passes. Thank y'all for your time and your patience there. I was just handed a quick note here. I understand we have a young man in the back who's here tonight to learn for his government class, Mr. Blake. Where are you, sir? Oh, right there. How can I miss you? Good to see you. Ms. Doris's son. Good to have you with us.
Thank you.
All right. At this time, Commissioners, we'll be going into old business. And I believe we have the second reading of our ordinance number 2016-03.
That is correct. This is the second and final reading of ordinance number 2016-03. An ordinance amending Chapter 14, Georgia Department of Public Health Rules and Regulations of the County of Meriwether, Georgia Code of Ordinances, to create Section 14-231 to adopt code and section numbers of the Georgia Department of Health, to provide for enforcement thereof, to provide for penalties for violations, to provide an effective date, to repeal all ordinances in conflict with this ordinance, and for other purposes.
Okay, that constitutes our second reading of that ordinance. Is there any action we need to take other than that?
We need to adopt it, right?
Yes.
And vote to adopt it. And that's-
We need to vote for adoption here. Commissioners, do I hear a vote for adoption?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Calling for a vote. Vote passes.
Thank you.
At this time, we move into new business. And the first item on our agenda is almost a bleed from the 5 o'clock meeting, which I guess would be a direct lead. The approval of the fiscal year 2016-2017 budget at this time, gentlemen. Do y'all have anything you want to add?
Yeah, we just appreciate the board's leadership and all the work you guys have done, and appreciate the work Bill and his staff and all the departments have done on putting this budget together. So we appreciate that.
Mr. Bill?
Mr. Vice Chair, the minutes, the amount of the budget is $13,229,305.
Commissioners, do I hear a motion we accept the budget? Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion on this item? I would ask for us to vote. Show of hands, positive. So passes. The next item is the approval to move forward with the Muni Code codification of the county code. Looks like there's also going to be a signing necessary here. Mr. Gay, would you like to elaborate, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, Muni Code is, what we're looking to do is have all our ordinances and all codified. Any amendments that you guys have made over the last few years have not yet been codified or placed into the ordinance book. So if anyone looks at the ordinance book, they have to then go and take a look at the addendums and the additions that are there. Municode is, nationally recognized group that does this for a lot of counties, a lot of cities, and we're just trying to catch up with our codes. Beverly's worked very hard on this. She's been working on this for several years, and I think we tried to budget that, and we're ready to move forward at this time with just the basic service. I think Beverly is what you said you needed from the Municode. We recommend execution of the contract. They will codify our ordinances. They'll put our new amendments we've made into the current form. And I think they also check for any conflicts and whatever as they do this as well. So with existing ordinances. So we recommend approval of the contract, and it is budget.
Do I hear a motion that we move forward with the Municode codification and allow the chairman to sign? Is there a second?
Second.
Any point of discussion? All in favor? So passes. The third item here is award the bids for King and Duke Line Road, and I would like to hear your comments.
Well, look, Mr. Bill is going to present this for you guys tonight.
As you know, the county experienced significant flooding damage during the holidays, and in conjunction with GM and FEMA, we've gone through the process of identifying those and completing all the...
Hold on just a second. Y'all can't hear in the back?
Here.
Is there anything that needs to be done to get this sound system? Just lean forward a bit, I guess, Mr. Bill.
Swallow it, okay. As I said, back during the holidays, the county experienced severe flooding due to prolonged periods of rain, and the county's gone through the process of applying for relief from FEMA and GM, and we've received some money from that. And this is the first series of roads that we had to bid out to repair. You have before you the two roads, Duke Line, located north of War Springs, and C.H. King roads. And we received 4 bids, which you have before you, and it's our recommendation that we award the contract for the culvert replacements at Duke Line and C.H. King roads to Crawford Grading in the amount of $179,478.36.
Did you have any other comments?
Only other comment, I just wanted to mention the time frame of this. Once the contract is approved on the bond is in place, Bill, is what, a 90-day period?
Contract signifies 90-day completion.
We hope it'll be sooner than that, but, that was the contract about. We do have some right-of-way that we have to acquire on C.H. King for a temporary easement and a permanent drainage easement. We have talked to the property owners with the exception of one, and so they're aware that this is coming, and I think even the third one's aware that it's coming. Susan and I were looking at deeds earlier tonight. We'll have those deeds ready to go, and we'll have those back in place long before, the notice to proceed is issued.
And Mr. Gay, myself, and the engineers have reviewed all 4 bids, and they were responsive. Again, we recommended the contract be awarded to Crawford Grading.
Commissioners, the recommendation is Crawford Grading receive this bid. I'd like to hear a motion.
With King, I think I've brought that up quite often, and with District 2, I will be more than happy to make the motion that we award the contract for Crawford Grading. And we hope that within 90 days, King will be open as well as Duke Line.
That's right, both of these projects. And that 90 days does cover both projects.
Good deal. Is that our second? Second. Thank you, sir. Any further discussion, Commissioners? With that, let me see a show of hands for you approved. So passes. The award goes to Crawford Grading. I'm sorry, in the back.
I was just trying to find out about Prayer Road, what's going to happen with that?
If you would, sir, would you wait to the end and we'll give you a chance to come forward and speak? That way it won't disrupt the process. Thank you so much.
Yes.
At this time, there has been a request made to close Bowes Church Road. Mr. Theron, you may want to elaborate some more on this.
Yes, sir. Glad to, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. We received a letter from about 7 or 8 signatures and property owners along the Bowes Church Road. They're asking for consideration to the board of asking this road be permanently closed and vacated. They mentioned and noted there's a lot of illegal dumping, illegal activity, guns being fired, animal abandonment, a little bit of everything. And they've sent some pictures in to verify the problems that they have at that location. And if the board is interested or willing to take a look at this, you're going to need to be able to set a public hearing in order to make a determination of whether or not this road continues to serve a significant public purpose. And we need to advertise that, Ron, a couple times in the paper and set the public hearing for a date thereafter. At that time, people would have the right to come forth and say why they support closing, why they would oppose closing, conduct the public hearing, and then the board can take action after you conducted and closed the public hearing. So the question before you tonight is, do you want us to move forward with the procedure to be able to have the board consider closure of Bowes Church Road?
I have one question.
Sure.
Are the signatures of all the interested neighbors in that area, or do we need to send out other notifications?
We're going to check and see. We actually wrote it today and took a look at it. I know one owner indicates they own the entire south side of the property. I don't know whether the rest are there, but we will notify everybody on the roadway to be sure they're aware of it, and also any adjoining property owners, and we will get that notice out to everybody.
This is a petition by all the owners on the road to close the road.
Maybe it will be. Yes, sir. Maybe it will be. I just haven't verified those yet. Right. I just haven't verified it. This may be all the owners, but we'll verify it, and if there's any that's not here, we'll send notice out.
I would suggest sending it to them as well.
Absolutely.
In the interest of following the procedure.
Absolutely.
What I'm hearing, we merely need a motion to open the process. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. And if you wanted to set a date for the public hearing, we need to be sure we have plenty of time to cover that advertisement. So I would either suggest, I'm not sure to get it in October, if your October meeting is, what's the date, the 26th? 25th. We should be able to meet that, shouldn't we, Ron? Yeah. So let's do that for October the 25th, and we'll take care of all the paperwork to get that done.
Okay, October 25th.
Okay.
Commissioners, do I hear a motion?
Hearing the recommendation from the county administrator, I make a motion to move forward with public hearing on October 25th to discuss the request to close the Bowes Church Road.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? If you're in favor of this, let it be known by an uplifted hand. So passes.
Thank you. We'll take care of all the paperwork. Goes to that.
And I think the next item, Mr. Theron, you certainly need to address this because this was something the citizens in that area were very much looking for.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Back early in the year, we had a kind of town hall meeting over in Allenton community. One of the questions that came up was Mount Palmer Road at 362, very, very dangerous intersection at that location. And prior to the meeting, because we knew there were some questions on this, we had invited GDOT to be able to attend the meeting, and Mr. Dan Woods and Tyler Peak from GDOT actually attended the meeting. And, the citizens expressed the concern they had and, the problems and issues it had with the roadway. I want to commend Mr. Woods and Mr. Peak for a great job and fast job that they did on this. They went back, immediately added some approach warning signs. Then they started conducting a study, considering sight distance and everything else. And in very short order, in fact, here a week or so ago, they sent us a notice out with a plan and a copy of the study. And what they're looking to do is to lower the grade at that intersection and create a roundabout, which will slow traffic, and even if there are accidents, the speed is generally slower, and so therefore it's not as significant an accident. They've looked at relocating some of the driveways and a variety of things. They've asked that the county consider your approval of indication of roundabout support of this location. They've asked us to take care of any electric energy that may be used for lighting that, and to maintain the landscaping, everything. I think we have a similar agreement down here at Harris City, and this is certainly a much-needed safety project, and we would recommend that you guys execute this and allow us to be able to return this back to GDOT where they can move forward with the plan of action. And GDOT will cover all the construction costs and everything associated with it. The county's obligation would be the energy and maintenance of the grounds afterwards.
So what I'm hearing, they want a recommendation or approval that we need to do here tonight.
They want your concurrence and indicate you support this as an action.
Document to sign.
Absolutely.
That's a
Yes, ma'am.
document to sign. Can you sign this?
Oh, okay. Indication of roundabout support, okay.
Yes, sir.
Commissioners, do I hear a motion that we approve this roundabout support and for the chairman to sign?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion necessary? Or any that you wish to extend? Then I'm going to call for a vote. Slow pass.
Okay. Thank y'all. And again, we appreciate GDOT's very quick response in that matter. And I've talked to Mr. Wood and Mr. Dick to let them know we appreciate their support.
And the sixth item, I believe, is coming right back to you, Mr. Chairman, acceptance of bridge repair and maintenance grant from CSX.
Yes, sir.
We
Sure
are
is.
so glad to see that.
Absolutely. And there were people that doubted us, but I've learned never doubt you guys. Y'all will find a way to get it done. So what you have before you tonight, here a few meetings ago, we signed an acceptance agreement with CSX for maintenance and then taking over basically future responsibilities on continued maintenance of this bridge. This is both the Sibley Road Bridge and Dan Stribling. Of course, Dan Stribling Road is being programmed into the state by the state GDOT for future replacement. This is a document that went to CSX. They've now executed that. It's back for you tonight just for acceptance and placement in your files for your record. And here are some photographs where they're actually working on the bridge. Now, I had one person call today call Ron's office thinking they were dismantling the bridge and taking it out totally. That's not the case. They are actually in the process of renovating and
Well, it actually is the case that they're going to replace.
They are. They actually are dismantling it, but not permanently. That's right. And I think the estimated time is 10 to 12 weeks on that, and I'm going to be out in the morning checking on that, and we got to join the property owner. We had some questions, so we're going to get those questions answered tomorrow. So,
Okay, and what you want from us then is just to accept.
yes, sir, just a vote to accept the agreement with CSX. That's all the action we need.
Commissioners, we need a vote to accept the agreement with CSX. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Any discussion? Let's vote.
I've been around for all of this.
For those of you who don't know, there's been a lot of grief along those lines. Moving ahead here, the next item on our agenda that we just added is the county property up here on, what's the name of the road? McLaughlin Road. We have rented that in the past and currently is sitting idle. And so, how do we want to handle this, Mr. Thayer?
I think that the board needs to decide. We have some intended uses for some of that property.
Some of it, yes.
board is interested in us defining the area that's not going to be used, letting this back out for lease, what I would suggest we do is we let that intent be known, we advertise that, and we accept bids. And I've had 2 or 3 people, and I've jotted their names down and put them in the file that are interested in leasing it. And what we could do is we could show them and indicate the section we'd be interested in, and we take bids on it. And then we execute a contract, and, we work it from there. So if you guys are interested in going back out for that, then by all means, we can put that together if that's the direction. And I would, again, recommend that we advertise that and give every citizen in the county an opportunity to be able to.
Do you know what the interested parties are going to enforce, just for pasture purposes?
Just for pasture. And we would restrict that, we require them to maintain fences, cross fence to separate out what we're looking to do. And it would just be for the purpose of cattle.
My only concern would be what we have thoughts for the use of the rest of it, if it would interfere with the livestock situation.
We would make that very clear to them, go into what our intentions were, and let them make that determination based on that. So,
With that being heard, Commissioners, do I hear a motion to pursue bids for our pasture land? Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion needed? Full vote. Okay, I'll call for a hand vote. So passed.
thank you.
The last item on our agenda, and you're probably going to be much better than explaining this than I am, Mr. Ferris, I'm probably recalling this, is right now, the defunct Lake Meriwether Board. Would you discuss that with us?
Yes, sir, I'd be happy to. And of course, I know we've been working, on the Lake Meriwether and some grants and a lot of things and talking about the use and improvements in the park. It's come to our attention that there's actually a ordinance on the record that indicated and created a governing body for that. And of course, that is from the mid-1980s. And there's a lot of things in there that just aren't, there's advisory people to that committee on agencies that don't even exist anymore. And this is set up kind of as a governance to determine the uses of the lake. There's restrictions on construction around the lake. A lot of things that manage the lake. My suggestion would be that if you guys want to look back at a board to give you advice on this, my suggestion would be that we kind of rework this from a governing board to maybe a recommending board, because I think ultimately you guys are the governing authority, and to give away that authority and that final vote on action is, you're going to be responsible for it, both, from a liability standpoint and from a fiscal standpoint. So I would recommend that we re-look at this ordinance. It's very similar to another ordinance that we reworked here, about a year ago, in terms of its structure. And let's create an ordinance that will set up a recommended body to this board. People that are very interested. I think some of the things we need to put in is first and foremost, this is a watershed lake. One of our first priorities needs to be protection of that. And then, of course, any accompanying recreation activities needs to be included. But this group could help us set rental fees, times, rates, activities, things very similar to that. And this board is currently on the books, but it's not in existence. And I would recommend before we do that, or you guys look at appointing anyone to that Susan and I be able to go back and take a look at this, kind of restructure this board, and then bring that back for your concurrence. And then from there, once we establish that, you can move forward with making appointments as you see necessary for this governing board.
What you're really needing from the board tonight is a motion to start the process.
Yes, sir, that's right. And Susan, since this, and you're not going to talk about it, but since it's an existing ordinance, we may have some extra steps we need to go through on that. right, to do that.
Feel well amend and repeal the portion that don't line up with what the
Absolutely.
state.
But we can do that, I think, relatively easily, bring that back to the board. And as we work on it, we can send you guys a draft or any input that you'd like to have. So that would be my recommendation of the direction that we go on the Lake Meriwether, advisory.
I support and agree with Aaron completely.
Okay.
Something to ordinance.
Yes,
Absolutely.
do I hear a motion that we start the process for the lake, the review, and whatever it takes to reconstruct the Lake Meriwether Boat?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion needed? Call for a hand vote. So passes.
Thank you.
At this time, our finance director, Mr. Bill, I know you've talked a lot today, but have you got other words for us?
Sure.
Okay.
I've got a couple of reports in front of you. The first one is the county bank balance.
Right.
General fund is $525,000. We look down to the E911, we're gonna move $25,000 out of that account to the general fund to help out. General and payroll next week.
Okay.
The other report is one that I'm really excited about showing you. And we did go into the county's hand note with the bank last week for $550,000. That's what that report is. Just for your information, I look back and it was around the 1st of August of last year. We didn't make it, so we improved that by a little bit. Maybe next year we can do a little bit more.
Love to see it.
But that's all I have with regard to the finances. Our fiscal year will end the 30th of this month, which is Saturday, Friday, Saturday.
Wow.
We've done all we need to do to be able to load the budget in the computer, get things up and running done for the next fiscal year.
Well, we almost did. Commissioners, any questions of our finance
That's
director?
all I have, thank you.
Thank you for that, Mr. Bill. There's no questions. I'm going to move on to our county administrator. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Just a few things tonight. I'm going to give you guys an update on our courthouse wall project. Had a pre-construction, or pre-bid meeting last week. We had two vendors, very, very reputable vendors, to be able to attend that pre-bid meeting. And the bids are due this Friday at 12 o'clock. And this will be a partially GDOT funded project in the county. It'll be a little big project. We'll bring this back to the board at your next meeting in October with a recommendation. We'll have some documents from GDOT we'll need to execute, which will allow us to work on their property. It's going to really entail basically encapsulating the wall, the old wall that's there, putting new caps, blocks around the top of it to kind of match with the rest of the streetscape down in Greenville. It will also include a sidewalk, which will go around the perimeter of the courthouse. The eastern side of the courthouse will be a 10-foot sidewalk. The rest of it will be a 5. The crosswalks will be relocated from the center over to the corners of the courthouse to allow safer access. Some of the aisles will be reworked a little bit. Old striping will be removed. Handicap parking will move to the southeast and northeast corners of the courthouse, which will accommodate that 10-foot side. The bump stops that are there now, people come up, they get out of their car, they get to walk in the street or hopefully walk between that and the wall. The sidewalk will then serve as a bump stop, so you'll still have, that in front of you to get out and be able to safely walk around. The sidewalks will also be raised in order to be able to serve as drainage as well. So it will serve as a curbing system, which will move the drainage to the southwest corner where the outlets are. And should be a really nice project. And we're looking forward to the bids on Friday. We'll analyze those. We'll finish our paperwork that's necessary with GDOT. We'll bring that back to the board for reconsideration at your next meeting. So, give you guys an update on that. A couple other things we've talked about, LMIG, I know we're still working on that, just a reminder to get some, road list in. I'll get with Tyrell, we'll try to finalize a big program. What I'd like to do is get that out here in the next month or so. We can go ahead and, number one, get funded in from GDOT, but it'll also allow us to use this winter to be able to measure our roads and do things when Public Works has a little more time. And we'll try to let those roads early next spring to go ahead and get ahead of the cycle on that, and maybe we can pick up some more money a little bit later on. Wanted to mention on our fire district meetings, we've got a meeting tomorrow. We have a couple other meetings. We're going to be speaking at the Lions Club. I think it's the Manchester Lions Club, but they meet in Warm Springs. We added that one. And we got a Greenwood Lions Club as well. Bill and I met this morning. We're going to actually meet with some of the school faculty to give them the information, and possibly some of the parent teachers organizations as well, because I know they're showing a real interest in the program. And so we'll have a lot of meetings, but everything so far has gone, very well, and we think it's a great program. Got our tractor in this afternoon. We'll show you guys that, and that's good. We're going to get it on the insurance and cover everything tomorrow. We're going to put it into action the following day, so we'll be able to do that. That tractor is efficient horsepower to be able to pull our batwing mowers and some mowing large areas like the airport and things like that to be a lot quicker and a lot safer than what we're trying to do. And County Line Church Road has been closed for a while. I want to let you know that our Public Works Department has completed the repairs on that. We met with GDOT bridge engineers and agreed that we would take some of the sections of the decayed piling, cut those out, basically replace them with another piece of piling, and we fabricated a brace, metal brace to go around that. It was a relatively inexpensive fix. It will get the bridge hopefully back open. GDOT inspected it today, and that bridge is slated for replacement next year. So we didn't want to put a lot of dollars into it, but we did want to open it up because it's a really, highly used road. So we should be able to open that back up here hopefully in the next few days or so. So wanted to give you guys an update on that, and again, appreciate everything you guys do.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
At this time, we'll have our report from our county commissioners. Commissioner Redmond.
I don't have anything except Brad, next time you put us live on Facebook, let me know before we meet.
First testament, that's all.
Commissioner Rosen, go ahead.
I think the only thing I'm going to have is to give us the status of, and I believe Mr. Roger, you can certainly express it in public comments, but Railroad, we're waiting to get the Army Corps of Engineers permit for 404. Have we gotten a status on that?
We've not really. What we do want to do is, and we talked to the engineers the last day or so, we're waiting on that. But we'd like to go ahead and bring it forward for you guys to maybe approve our engineers to go ahead and start doing. They've been doing the analysis to this point, and we've been working on trying to get that. That is a little different than Jeep Line and King Road because it's such a huge drainage basin. The idea is they want to be sure that we don't replace that structure with another structure that can wash out in another similar flood. So they want us to upgrade that structure. They're willing to work with us on that. So we're waiting on the Corps of Engineers. We'd like to go ahead and we'll try to get that back to you guys next meeting to be able to move forward with as much engineering as we can prior to that, where we won't have a delay, because we don't want to really wait until we get all the way to the end of the permit and then have to engineer it. But we don't want to engineer something that we don't know exactly what the Corps is going to require. So we're going to start some of that engineering, try to move forward with it, and at the very minute that that's ready to be able to bring forth and let, we want to let it just, we're as interested in getting done as anyone. Those are structures that are going to be very expensive to do. If we move forward and did it without GDOT's help, and not GDOT, but GMA and FEMA's help, we'd probably be looking at probably bill of taxes per bridge, and I think we got 4 that's out there, because those are extensive projects, and they're going to have to be replaced with a bridge or potentially multiple box culverts. So we're anxious in getting that done. We want to get it done as fast as we can, and we've already talked to the engineers. We'll be bringing back, again, a proposal to move as forward as we can with that without wasting time and money, where we can expedite it as soon as we are back.
And just one other comment, that it is my understanding that Greg, they did go back out and we did put barricades again.
That's right.
Back in place.
Someone had moved those.
And signage, I'm hoping, is still in place. There again, we have to rely on the public to let us know, because it does get removed or changed or whatever, so.
And, that road is why someone would move the barricades, I do not know, but I believe Tyrell told me they've actually put up a guardrail type barricade maybe this time.
That's my understanding.
And, I haven't checked it yet, but I think that's what he told me that they're going to do. But we're anxious to move it forward. We want to get it open just as much, but we want to be sure that 5 years from now, you guys aren't dealing with this again. You want it to be permanent fix. So.
Anything else?
That's it.
Just a quick couple of comments here, and on the conversation we were just having about getting the repairs done. When we started this process, we didn't know how many acronyms we were going to have to use. DOT, GMA, FEMA, and now the Army Corps of Engineers thrown into the mix. But it was sort of a dark period there when we first started in January, trying to see how in the world we were going to come up with the money to repair these roads and these bridges. So when the funds became available, we were more than willing to work with anybody that wanted to come up and help us pay for the project. So that's how we got into this and how it got extended, I think. But all in all, we are making some progress. Last time I mentioned about needing more road work, get my tongue straightened out here, in my district, and all of a sudden this last week I'm getting compliments. People are calling, thanking me for the roads that are being graded and the ditches that are being pulled and that sort of thing, so that made me feel good. The other thing, I had asked about the tractor, and Mr. Theron has produced it for us now. I still think if we let a bid, that they ought to be able to fill that bid at least within 30 days, and so we're going to look at that too. This week has been more fire district meetings. I got to go to a couple myself, and I guess one of the best comments I heard was down in Woodbury. One of the gentlemen there listened very patiently to everything that was said, and he looked up and he said, well, why didn't we do this 30 years ago? Well, you can't answer that question. You weren't here 30 years ago, but I guess I'm sure he meant it to be academic anyway. But that's pretty much all I had at this time. And now it's for our county attorney. County attorney gets to speak. Barrister Susan. Always wanted to say that.
That's the first time I've actually heard it. I don't have anything to contribute. We don't have need for, thank goodness, for an executive session this afternoon, this evening. Thank y'all for coming out.
At this time, the floor is open for public comment. On Graham Road, Mr. Roger, would you like to come up and address anything else you'd like to say? Come right on up to the front.
I think I heard.
Come up to the front, sir. We need to get you recorded. And please sign in. Oh, you have? Okay.
I ain't signed in here. No, I just came to find out where it was going. 3 months. 3 months, it'll be a year. It's a lot of driving around for a lot of people.
Yes, it is.
A lot of comments from people from St. Mark's that I probably wouldn't share here, But I mean, I know there's a lot of work behind the scenes for it. I was just trying to find out, Troup County, they got all their roads and bridges fixed. And just trying to find out where we are here.
Well, I think our problem is trying to get as much aid to do this as we could, and that's why you've got all these agencies involved. And every time you add another layer, it just takes that much more time.
Right.
If you'll just bear with us, we'll certainly try. I'm sorry, Mr. Thurman.
I was just going to say, Mr. Chairman, one of the things is, we had a lot of old structures. One of the structures that washed out, Ms. Rosa and I, one of the very first times, I told Ms. Rosa, I said, next time it rains real hard, this road's going to wash out. Sure enough.
Well, that road was fixed about in the 90s sometime,
Yes, sir.
and it wasn't fixed right then.
That's right. And that was the point I was going to make. We had a neighboring county that experienced the same rain that we did. But back in '94, when it came, they went through the program we're going through now. And yes, it took better than a year to do some of those projects. This last time around, while we had all of these roads washed out, they had 2. And one of them, they already had the pipe on the ground, well, they're going to change it out anyway. So that is proof that when you upgrade it, you go through this program, you get the Corps of Engineers and all those studies, you don't have those problems in the future. Had we done this, as you say, in the 90s, hopefully we wouldn't be having to address it today. So that's our goal, is to fix these roads in a situation where we won't have to address them in our lifetime.
Well, what's the time frame? They're supposed to get back with you on it, or Meriwether County?
We are working with an engineering company, and that engineering company is working with Corps of Engineers. You have to be able to do studies to determine what the capacity flow is of the water, determine the drainage acres. A lot of it goes into it. I know it's kind of a detailed study, takes a little while to do. What we're going to do with our engineers is get back and start moving forward with the engineering to be able to expedite that at the very earliest that we can. So we hear back from the engineers, hope we'll be able to get our designs completed. And once we get those done, just like we did with the Jeep Line and King tonight, we go ahead and get those projects let as soon as possible. And that would be our goal too. We want to fix them just as bad as you guys want to protect them. But we also don't want to have to be in a situation, come back and ask the board to raise the taxes in order to do this, when we do have federal and state dollars that we paid in that we can take advantage of.
Well, stay on the phone with them.
We'll do it.
Okay.
That's what we did with CSX.
Thank you, sir. I hope that answer was somewhat satisfactory. Anyone else like to make public comment?
I can chime in, but when is the local political forum and the state, the West Forum speak? Carolyn is not here.
October the 11th.
The local is the 11th. Congressional is the
And where?
13th. The local is at the Blaze High School. Congressional is the courthouse.
Thank you.
Is it 6?
It's in the paper.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Did you get all that, Ms. Charlene?
Well, I got the local, I didn't know what it said about the state. I think the West Forum.
I'll get with you after the meeting.
I'm getting questions at City Hall and I didn't know what to say.
Okay. Anyone else? I don't see any movement out there. We'll move on. As Ms. Susan said, we have no need for executive session. Our future meetings, October the 12th at 9 a.m. is our regular morning meeting. October the 25th at 6 p.m. is our evening meeting. And that pretty much wraps it up. I'd like to thank you for being here and thank you for your presence. Do I hear a move to adjourn? So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
We are adjourned.
Hey, y'all check out. Start.